Welcome everybody to Ascensions. Today we're going to be discussing a theory that I've came up with that mentions something about another character group that has been in the same universe we are in inside Zetsubo no Shima and Rise Drake. Now before we get into this, I want to mention one thing is that I'm going to be talking about multiple different sets of characters that we have played as, or not exactly played as, but that exist. So I'm going to be mentioning the original characters, and when I say original characters, I'm talking about the characters from Black Ops 1, and when I say 1.0 characters, I'm talking about the ones that we are killing with the Origins characters, which is another group of characters I'm going to be mentioning. The Origins characters, obviously, they are another group. Also, I may mention one other one, but that's kind of where my theory comes into motion, but we'll get to that when we get to there. So without further delay, let's get right into this. So originally in Ascension, we thought we were playing as the original characters, but I am starting to question that, because why did we go to Ascension in the first place? Before we answer that, we have to remember what we were doing inside Black Ops 1 Zombies. So we were pretty much doing Richtofen's bidding, getting everything ready for Moon, just for Richtofen could take over all the zombies and all the good stuff, get inside the ether and all that good stuff. If this is true, why did Richtofen need to go to Ascension? Or in other words, what did we do in Ascension? Well, we freed Gersch, but how did this help Richtofen? Since we are doing Richtofen's bidding, how did it help him? Well, sadly, we can't find any connections to this ever helping Richtofen, at least that I know of, because what we did, we pretty much just fixed the Casimir mechanism and freed Gersch, which again, from what I know, did not help Gersch at all. But what if it did help a Richtofen, but we just didn't know it? And what if it was a Sipper Richtofen or a different world Richtofen that we weren't aware of? But how could it? If we weren't playing as the original characters, and I'm not saying the Origins characters either, but if we were playing as a different set of characters, maybe they were Primus, but what if they did have their own goals and their own separate things? This would help explain why they helped Gersch. Not really, but it'd give us a reason why they help Gersch, because they have unknown reasons, if that makes sense. But one may say that maybe these characters are just way too similar to the original characters. But this could explain, this could be easily explained, and even help my theory. Because remember the cipher and the permanent power in Zetsubo no Shima. Now I'm going to read you guys off one part specifically. So it says, I've noticed even with my brief travels that new memories and emotions have flooded my mind and suddenly appearing out of nowhere. So they could have stayed in this universe or dimension for too long, and as the cipher says, new memories and emotions flooded my mind, and they could sort of start forgetting who they are and started getting confused. Maybe that they were, the original characters and not themselves, or maybe even Primus if they are. But why does this all apply to us now? If this is true that we have that in the original world, because I'm talking about this all happening in the original world, if there is this separate group that was happening in Black Ops 1 that went and helped Gersch and we just never knew anything about this, how does this apply to us now? And how it does, it's because of this cipher inside Zetsubo no Shima. People have called it the Gersch cipher, and I want to read off for you guys right now this one specific part. Okay, this is Gersch talking, just keep that in mind. And what he says is, "Where am I now? A city on fire by a river? I know this place. Finally, I am home." Now, what this is actually saying, it's talking about Gersch, and he's floating over a city on fire by a river. And I think most people can assume this to be actually Stalingrad, which is, a lot of people are saying this is going to be our next DLC, which I can't argue too much against. But there's one problem. Inside this universe, Gersch was never freed from Ascension, because remember, in Ascension what we did, we went and helped fix the Casimir mechanism, which helped free Gersch. But none of our characters could have done this, because the 1.0s and not the original characters, because the original characters from what we know have not ever entered inside the universe we are playing as in now. The 1.0s could have never had a chance to even make it to Ascension in the first place, because obviously we've been killing them. Now, what about the Origins characters? Well, the Origins characters have been too busy killing the 1.0s himself, kind of ironic. But nonetheless, Gersch was still freed, and this would also say that the events of Ascensions still took place, and were not prevented unlike all the other maps, because by killing Takio, MC, and Richtofen, soon to be Nikolai, they could have never had a chance to do any of these other maps. They couldn't have gone to Doriz. They couldn't have gone to any of our maps on Nocturne, Kinodento, and they couldn't have done Moon or anything, especially now that the Moon's gone. But the events of Ascension still took place because Gersch is freed, and Gersch should have never had a chance to be freed unless there was another character group inside this same universe. Now, this is actually pretty cool because inside this universe, we have our 1.0 characters that we have been killing, different from the original characters. We have our Origins characters, and possibly even another set of characters. Now, I just want to talk about who these guys could possibly be. Now, they could possibly be Primus if the Origins characters aren't Primus, but you have to think that they maybe are a little similar to them because their age kind of match the original characters. So this one's actually kind of crazy. It could actually be that in Ascension, this could kind of flip on my theory, but would still work, is that the characters in fact, are the Origins characters. Because if you look at what the characters are wearing, especially Richtofen, he is wearing a spacesuit when all the other three characters are wearing their normal suits. Now, why would this make sense? It's because that maybe the three other characters found a way to escape from Moon, and they've already been off Moon for a while, but the events of Black Ops 2 all took place, but Richtofen realized something was wrong, and he had to leave the ether himself, somehow obtain his body back, and this could explain why he still has a spacesuit on, because he just came back from Moon to the Earth, and these events of Ascension are happening even after Black Ops 2. I know this one's kind of out there, myself I find it hard to believe, but if this is true, that these are the original characters, but these are even past the events of Black Ops 2, and he realized something was wrong, and he had to go free Gersch, and there was just all this stuff happening. Now, I know this has multiple flaws, because there are a few things that you kind of hear Samantha inside the map, and a few other things, but this could actually be explained because he swapped bodies back with Samantha, and she would be in control again, so that would also help it. But tell me what you guys think. I think this is absolutely sick, and if we could see the characters, because you have to keep in mind that these characters, if they did that in the original world, what if they also went to the world we're in now, and they're also doing the works of Ascension or whatever is happening there, and Gersch got freed, and that'd be sick, and it'd be an absolutely brilliant reason to bring the 1.0 characters back into our story. I mean, excuse me, not the 1.0 characters, the original characters back into our story. So that'd be absolutely sick. I know it's kind of out there, the end of that theory, but the first part is absolutely sick. I don't know, tell me what you guys think. Go ahead and like the video if you found it informative and sick. If you guys want to stay tuned for more theories, anything news, COD news, or anything like that, go ahead and subscribe. So thank you guys for watching, and I'll catch you guys on my next video.